good to go. So hello, everybody. How are you? And since we are kind of keeping track, this is number 11. It's of the GVDS Showcase. For those of you watching on YouTube, as well as those who have registered on Zoom, we thank you for joining. This is going to be a session where Team MVP is going to be going through their prototype and kind of reviewing the challenge they took on. We have several members of the team here. We'll basically be doing introductions at first, going through the challenge, and then eventually the prototype or the solution they came up with. At any time during this presentation, if you'd like to put in some Q&A or some questions related to what you see on here, then feel free to put those into YouTube as well as over in Zoom. And we'll basically make sure that those are answered towards the end of the session. So I'll start by having, Sandy, you said you were going to share your screen, correct? And on cue, there it is. So let's start with kind of introducing the people that are behind the virtual sprint that we did. And we'll go ahead and start with you, Sandy, since you're right at the very front of Team MVP there in the mural. Go ahead and tell everyone who you are, what you're about, and what you tend to do better than anyone else that you know.
Oh, does it have to be a different answer than what I had last time?
No, it can be professionally, it can be personally, it can be like you cook the best omelet, you find the best restaurant,
okay,
you know how to travel best, whatever you'd like to do, just put it up there.
I suck at doing omelet.
Okay, so we won't mention omelets, but something else that you think you're really good at.
Okay, hi everyone, my name is Sandy Lam, and I'm a product designer working in Germany right now. My superpower, I think it's not a superpower. It's a superpower that I mentioned before, and it's not a superpower that I actually named myself. It's what people are naming me, which is my mural skill. Seems like because I did all this templates for GVDS, and now I'm actually the toppest user for the whole mural product. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think people know you because of Mural. It's like when everyone kind of uses your templates or is influenced by them, it's just I think it's probably compliment.
Yeah, it's either Mural or GVDS.
Yeah, that works. Okay, thank you, Sandy. How about Jerome? Jerome Fromau, an entrepreneur, an owner of 2 different businesses, and I could go on, but go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, my name is Jeroen Fromau, living in the Netherlands, passionate about working with special people, talented people, very active in the design domain. And what I'm good at actually is maybe probably the hardest question, but what I like a lot is bringing people together and enable their success in the best possible way. So maybe that's in a summary what I'm good at.
Okay, that'll work.
Tom, hand it over to you, Tom.
Good evening, everybody. How you all doing? My name is Tom Jepson. I am a UX consultant working out of Nottingham in the UK. I work remotely most of the time. So yeah, this experience has been really good to kind of flex those remote muscles a little bit. What do I do better than anyone else? It's a hard one. I think I probably drink coffee better than anyone else. Maybe.
Well, now we're going to need a video to figure that out. It's like, okay, the proper way to drink coffee by Tom Jepson.
It's always with a little finger out. I don't know. But yeah, I do enjoy a good cup of coffee. I'll say that much.
So where are your favorite beans from? Where do you tend to get your coffee from?
Now, see, I'm really lucky in Nottingham that we've got some great independent outlets who roast their own. So if anyone from the UK is watching, specifically in Nottingham, Outpost Coffee Roasters is the one for me. Best espresso in town.
Interesting. Okay. Now it's something else I have to put in my notes whenever I travel.
You've got to come over. You've got to come over. I'll take you.
All right. That works. Let's see here. Is Lisa here? Lisa's here, no? I didn't see her. Nope. Okay. All right. We'll get.
She's not here, but she's not here, but I can introduce her if you want to.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Lisa is living in Berlin, Germany, and she's a senior product manager, coach, and consultant with a very strong focus on growth and strategy. and she loves transforming groups of people into real teams. And that's what she really did also in our team here during the GVDS. Lisa has been our lead test user, and she demonstrated this also with much confidence during her live user testing during the first Mural Europe Center backstage event that was featured earlier last week. What is she good at? Cuddling cats. We've seen that a lot in the meetings.
Or getting bitten by cats.
Yeah,
there's
with all
definitely
the
cat streak in the GVDS. I've seen that with Jason LeManc. I've seen it with other designers, such as like the cat just goes poof, and it's right there.
Worrying thing sometimes. I saw a black cat, so I never know how to interpret that. But it was great to have the pet on the team as well. Thank you, Lisa.
And Anna looks like she's still because her internet crashed, so we'll get to her in a little bit. We'll skip over to Beatrice.
Hey, I'm Bea, also located in Germany, like Sandy in Leipzig. We are co-workers. Also working as a UX designer. And what else? What's your question? Superpower. I think I'm good in turning things around. So also finding something positive in, whatever negative thing. So however bad it is, I find something positive in it.
So even if the prototype stinks, you're going to find something on there that said, like, you know what? I love the color.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Cool. Thank you for that. And Anna's back.
Yeah, so sorry. Sometimes I wonder what century I live. Okay. So we're still with introductions, right?
Yes, I just skipped over to you right when I saw your face move again. So it's like, okay, now we could go to Anna.
Perfect. So yeah, I'm Anna. I'm a senior consultant at a consultancy company. I'm working in the sphere of learning, so I'm supporting change and HR transformation projects mostly. And what I'm good at is, I think, maintaining relationships.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Thank you, Haron. I was just about to do that, but you beat me to the punch. Okay, great. And then I think that everyone else, I think we covered everybody. So maybe we can give some introductions for Adriana, Andres, and Matteo, if anyone would like to speak about who they are and what they're all about. Maybe Sandy.
I have a feeling that Adriana is actually online. Is she the second Beatrice in the call?
I don't know. I also saw it. Somebody needs to be this person.
Okay.
I am on the call.
I don't know.
You can hear me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard somebody.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So, well, thanks everyone for joining and for taking the time to do this. I'm Adriana. I've been working quite a bit in the digital field, on building different types of solutions and products, and I transitioned a bit more into product management. And I'm very happy to have been part of the MVP team for GVDS, and looking forward to present this as a team.
That would be global virtual sprint design. I like that.
Yeah. I know that happened, but that was just easier to say.
That's okay. Maybe I could shorten it down to just like G. What are you doing for the big G? Kind of go that route.
Yeah.
It's all good. All right. And did you have a superpower, Adriana?
Well, not a superpower, but I did, well, as a side activity, I had a contest that I created for myself to find the best hummus in all the places that I usually travel to. And it's still one place in my hometown, and I'm still looking if there's anything to beat that.
So between Tom's recommendations for coffee and your recommendations for hummus, I almost feel like we should have an international guide to finding the right stuff. Just keep a log of it so that everyone can kind of sound off, so that if anyone wants to, we can do it like an informal tour guide. That if you're in a particular town, you can find the best stuff there.
Yeah, I think food in general is a tool for social connections. Mm-hmm. So it's very interesting to bond over sharing something like that. So
I agree. That's why I
think we gotta stop this topic because I still have not had dinner yet.
Okay, so no more food
Open the drawer, there's probably some chocolate.
Someone send Sandy a pizza.
Yeah, I could go over. I still have some Halloween candy left from my son. I could just sit there and start like, eating a giant chocolate bar.
Oh, I'm at a hotel room, so there's nothing here.
Yeah. So let's talk about Andres since he's not here. Let's maybe Sandy, can you talk about him and basically like what's your impression of him and what he's all about?
I don't even know him, so Jerome is going to talk about him.
All right, so you talk about him.
Again, a person that's Berlin-based. Andre is an independent innovation consultant and a design thinking coach, working with different agencies, corporate labs, and startups. Most interestingly, one of his last projects, actually, he calls Creative Clues, and it's a solution to really stimulate collaboration and ideation in a very visual way. And we all in the team were very fortunate, I have to say, to experience that, bring it to the next level. So I think already a big thank you to Andre to offering that to us. Nice thing about Andre was that throughout the whole journey, he really demonstrated the critical learning behavior, because he really wanted to understand how to bring the digital, or let's say the digital designing and sprinting into this virtual context. So he was critical on the process, critical on the steps, but that really brought us to the next level.
Did you think that that you guys created a new way of doing the map by kind of invoking creative clues in the process?
We're not allowed to talk about that, but I think the general answer is yes.
Okay, so state secret, don't tell anybody. That's fine. We won't go there.
No, it's. I think we need to appreciate that what he tried to do in the session really worked well. I think we were all very enthusiastic about how his creative clues leveled up the conversation on the mappings and on the journeys that we did. He's really actively looking in how to bring it to the next level now, and that's something that we need to respect as well.
Okay, that's fine. Then I won't say anything more about it. Mateo Fernandez, who would like to kind of tell everyone about who he is and what he brought to the team.
I represent all the people in absence today. So welcome to all that are not there and watching this video later. Also Matteo, he was really, let's say, present in the start of our sprint, not in the tail of the sprint for various reasons, including workload related. But he's based in Uruguay, product manager at Bootstrap, and his company is helping startup founders and enterprises to innovate using web and mobile technologies. He really acted as a critical observer in the problem framing stage and learning about the virtual design sprinting, also to experience all the benefits of working in geographically dispersed teams, which his company is, and which he really wanted to experience and learn about in the sprint. So he really took it forward in the first stage of the sprint. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to join us in the tail and in the prototyping, but we really appreciate his contributions in the beginning. So Matteo, thank you for that.
Very cool. Okay, let's get right into the idea. I'm assuming that well, my understanding is that you already have a kind of a set way of going through this. So I'll let you kind of run through the process and let you take it away.
Okay, I will take this over. So we took up the topic purpose-driven employment like a lot of other people did, a lot of our teams did. I think it's really like a crucial topic people are interested in, and it was the only one topic, as I remember, that nobody was not interested in, and people were really like diving deep into it, and really, I think they all contributed with a lot of research also in advance of the sprint. So I think it really was a topic that everybody enjoyed to work on. Then we had a kickoff session and we did a problem framing workshop, and our problem statement that came out of it, Lisa was so kind to overwork it a little bit to make it more to the point. It is recruiters in purpose-driven companies want to find some motivated candidates. New hires, on the other side, want to make an impact in their work. It is challenging to find the right match because identifying what motivates someone is not easy. Solving this can improve mental health and support everyone to be the best version of themselves. Yeah, that's the problem statement. And on our our journey started with, of course, SME interviews. Tom and Adriana did them. They did a great job, and we transcribed them into How Might We. Voted on 3 on them, and these are the 2 that got into our map in the end as our main target. How might we create a transparent channel for feedback before and during the employment period? And the supporting target, how might we ensure expectations meet reality for both recruiters and applicants? And on our journey, after that, we defined our long-term goal, which is aiming very high, very high aimed vision. In 2 years' time, recruiters and candidates have open and clear communication. They manage expectations and successfully match an individual's purpose to a company purpose. And when thinking about this long-term goal, we figured out that there are a lot of obstacles that could cross our way to get there. And one was, can we really find out what motivates a candidate instead of just having them say what a recruiter wants to hear? That's, I think, what was also one of the main obstacles, sprint questions we really focused on. The other one was, can we make recruitment process less awkward so parties get to know each other in a more informal way? And the third one is there, can we create an environment where being honest and open is safe and valued? Yeah, that's it. I don't know if I should mention the map again. I would like to, because it was, I think, very surprising for me, because our problem statement was focusing on recruiters at the beginning. But then we found out that most of the people focused on the candidates and the job seekers when thinking about the journey. And that's why we decided in the end to have 3 actors. And also these How Might We's and our targets really were positioned at the touching points of these people, these actors. I can hand over to Anna now to talk about the solution sketch, because there you will see that we in the end focused on the candidates, because we figured out we need to start there.
Yes, perfect, thank you. So we had a couple of amazing ideas of what our solution could be like. And then by the time we had to choose our favorite one, we were left with only girls because the guys for some reason left. And maybe that's also the reason why this was picked, but I'm pretty sure the guys are super happy that we picked this one solution here. And the special thing about this one is that it's actually, from the very beginning, it was already pretty well thought through. And so when we came to the storyboarding, we only had to add a couple of things from which we then derived our prototype, or built the prototype, or better, Tom built the prototype. So in the beginning, the candidate is asked is told that, I need to only focus on this one here. The candidate is asked to, or is told that the company doesn't believe in resumes, but they believe in the candidate. And instead of saying that they want the resume right now, they just emphasize that the employment relationship is better and more important to them than just their skills and the company's money. So they ask for a little trust of the candidate to complete a couple of steps. And then the job seeker, if he agrees, the job seeker finds himself on the 3rd screen that you can see here, to find a comfortable place and to follow the instructions that are shown in the video. And once this job seeker or candidate has watched the video, the next screen appears where the candidate should reflect on their purpose, following the instructions from the video. And then only then the company shows what their purpose are. So what their purpose is, and saying that they basically run through the same process as the candidate. And in the very end, then the match between the candidate's purpose, the one that the candidate put down through the instructions of the video, and the company's purpose are matched, and it shows a score of the degree or the extent that they match, and then it suggests that they meet up, depending on, like, if there's a high match, then they suggest that they can organize a meetup. And I think, is it Tom now that will present the final prototype?
All right, Sandy, you can share it straight to my screen if you want.
Like, you mean I stop sharing and then you?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I can run through it if you like.
Okay.
Okay. There we go. So hopefully everyone can see this this little window in the front here. So our prototyping was a very rapid affair, as you'd expect from a design sprint. It was myself kind of driving the thing. We're using Adobe XD, which is a great tool for kind of rapid UI design. And you know, we worked together as a team collaboratively throughout the 4th day of our sprint experience to put this together. So collaborating on the content, we were including. Bea put together this awesome logo. The branding for this thing got some really positive responses. So yeah, I'll give you a little walkthrough of the HuMatch prototype. So the user testers were set up with a scenario by Lisa and Adriana. And once they're into the prototype, we say to them, welcome. We say the next step in your career is waiting for you. And we ask them, shall we take a journey together? So they enter into this experience. The first thing they're seeing is kind of a clean kind of web page that says we don't believe in resumes. And then we want to try and bring them down the page to say that, you know, we believe in you. We understand that a professional relationship is more than just our money and your skills. There was some really interesting feedback on the presentation of some of these elements that I'm sure Sandy will go into in a short while. And then when the person using the prototype reaches the bottom, we bring them to kind of our call to action that says, why don't you take a moment to reflect on what matters most to you? And we give them this little prompt here that says, you know, it will take around 10 minutes because we want to set them up for the thing which we're about to ask them to do. When they're ready to go, they can hit I'm ready and they can move on. Here, we are asking them to take a bit of action. So we're asking them to take some time to reflect. We're giving them some instructions here as to the things they need to do. And we're asking them, as part of this process, to watch a little video. So when they're ready to go, they've read their instructions. We ask them, you know, they're going to get started watching this video. For the purpose of the prototype, we didn't create a video or source anything online because I think we decided collectively that we couldn't find anything completely fit for purpose. But, you know, feedback from, again, some of the tests was that this kind of made sense. I think we would have really liked to get a little video of someone guiding a user through this kind of meditation on finding purpose and understanding the motivation. One for next time. They've watched the video, they can hit continue. They'd be keeping themselves in this screen here. And when they're ready to move on, they can move on. At this point, we're asking the tester to complete the things that they love doing, that they really care about and that they're good at. Hopefully they'll have taken some time to reflect and made some notes off the back of the video. And when they're ready, they can fill those out. We pre-filled for the purpose of the prototype. Again, this was some collaborative content writing throughout the day of our prototype, and we're kind of back and forth on this to find things which were generic enough to represent kind of most of the people we might test with. So they're going to move ahead. And at this point, we're bringing the company perspective in. So we're showing them this this kind of purpose statement from the company. Says we wanted to start with our why. Why do we serve our clients the way we do? Why are we in this industry? Why did we start our business? We believe in two things: design is everywhere, and that we need integrity. We question assumptions. We think deeply. At the same time, we do not want to cause unnecessary harm to humans or the environment. So this this statement was put together. Lisa did some great wordsmithing around this, and at this point, you know, our testers read the statement and they want to kind of move forward in the process. So they want to see how they compare and how these their purpose and the purpose of the company marry up. We went around a little bit on some visualization for this section, but we just kind of opted for a simple presentation. So they said that, yep, 87% match, and that the candidate and the company are a great match. A little bit of extra information, but the key call to action is to arrange a meetup between the company. So present a little, a few options, a where and a who. So the person, the candidate, is going to meet the hiring manager. And at this point, they can then request their meetup. And that rounds out their journey from part of our prototype. I think at this point, Sandy's going to take over and present back some of the findings from the user research.
But before we move on to the user testing, I would like to hear a little bit your experience about prototyping the solution. How does it? How did you feel about transferring the solution sketch to this prototype? Is there any challenges that you had, or?
You know what? I think because we came together really well as a team, we actually built a very collaborative working process right from the beginning. I mean, because my job as a UX designer is a lot of rapid ideation, rapid prototyping. So kind of jumping into day 4 of the sprint didn't feel particularly unfamiliar. And as kind of Anna talked through, the solution that everyone came up with it was well considered, and everyone had put their kind of their thoughts, and we'd come to a really good consensus on that. Say we, the team who kind of worked through on that, because unfortunately I wasn't there at that time. But I think to actually get it from storyboard sketches through to the graphic that we see on the screen, for me personally, it was actually quite a smooth process. As I say, everyone was chipping in. So, you know, Bear was contributing on the visuals, Lisa was contributing on the content, I was stringing it together, we were going back and forth across Basecamp and Slack. And I think that's something for anyone taking on the rapid prototyping, if you're going to go at this kind of fidelity, because we're not saying that for every sprint you're going to do a full UI treatment. But I think for anyone approaching that, having lines of communication with the team open, and everyone's kind of responsive to feedback, I think makes it way easier than working siloed. Because there can be, if you're throwing stuff out to the team and they're not coming back, or there's a delay, it can hold things up a little. So just having everyone on hand really was really, really helpful.
Anyone in the call would like to chip in anything before I move to the user testing? No? Okay. Then after we finished the prototype, we went on doing some user testing. It was a lot of them were done by Lisa, and also Adriana also did a few of them. I will start with the negative and then end with the positive. I think it's a better way to go. So here are just some highlights, the main points that we felt are the most or the most stood out from the rest. And so some of the negative feedback that we got was like still people are thinking still in the resume and skill mindset. So one thing that one scenario that we had was after they went through this whole journey and they were asking, okay, now where do I submit my resume? So it was, yeah, we realized that some of the people, or our solution at least, is very targeted to a group of people who are very purpose-driven, or they already have this kind of mindset, and it can be very confusing for those who don't have this kind of purpose in their head yet. The other is, if a meetup has been arranged, why would someone be in touch? So I think it was just a general confusion. So because in the end we said that let's arrange a meetup, and then we said now somebody's going to contact you. So it feels like there was like a double ending in the end that chokes the people a little bit. And then there was this feedback called set as the questions and their intent were confusing. So it was talking about the 3 questions that we had, which is to ask the candidates to put in their own reflection. And to some, they were good, but for some people, they felt like it was too simple or too genetic in a way. And then where do I put my skills? What am I good at professionally? So yeah, so similar to that resume skill mindset, in general, I would say that the negative feedback that I got was that when you don't have this, or people are just so used to this resume process that they didn't really understand what this idea was about. So then we have some informational statements that we got. So very curious about the matching making. It was, I would say actually it was the biggest one. Many people were looking at the 89% results, and they were very, very curious about how we got to that result in the end. Does the text have a limit? I think it should. So there was also an information statement saying that because we have these 3 text boxes for them to enter the reflection, which is, I think, is really valid, because some people may only enter just a short sentence and some people may enter a long paragraph. So we should at least set a limit to it. And then there are more options to meet up would make it easier. So as a prototype, we only offered the breakfast and dinner, and for the user testing, we didn't even allow the user to choose, so they couldn't really click on the dinner. So I think that, yeah, so I would agree, more options would be cool. And more options of the purpose funding method. So our solution, we only had, or at least our intention was to have like a meditation kind of video to help the users, or help the users to find their purpose. But during the user testing, we found out that some of the people, they may not be into meditation. So we could probably also provide perhaps like a coaching section or other kind of methodology that we can help the users to find their purpose. Some insights that we got: would like to understand what is behind the match. Similar to that, so again, same screen where we said that now the company and the users are 89% match, but we didn't really explain behind how that match was done. So people would like to see how it's explained, or what is the algorithm that actually calculate, or how it was being done. Not easy to communicate the idea to those who don't always have a purpose-driven mindset. So yeah, during the user testing, we found out it's either they get it like immediately, or they wouldn't even get it until the very, very end, or we sometimes just have to explain the idea to them. So either you have that purpose-driven mindset, then you can very easy to get the idea, or you may get lost. The video is bringing me into the moment. It's all about me. Yeah, so seems like people really like that as well. So the whole process that we were talking about, we are trying to help you to find your purpose. So that also helped them to, like, the video also got a very, very positive feedback as well. And is there a difference in how women and men would perceive this? It was a interesting observation from us. It seems like there, at least from our small sample of user testers, seems like the women were able to get the idea much faster and easier, and the men seemed like we had to explain that. And when we were talking about the solution sketch, that remind us that this during the voting was only the women were there. And I actually was thinking, would that have been an impact to that? So I don't know the answer, but yeah. And we got some very a few positive statements. So appreciation for meeting a high manager in person. So a lot of people really like that after they go through the meeting, and if it was a good match, then they were already able to meet someone in person. I like the different options to meet up. So we offer a few options. Some people thought it was not enough, and some really just liked it. There is at least options for the meetup. Very unique. I already feel the company care about me when going through the process. So because the whole process, we say like, we want to find your purpose. We don't care about the resume. And just at the first few screens, some people they already had the feeling that this company is trustworthy. They already felt the company was caring about them and not just about matching skills. And the other that we also had was, I like the questions. It's not something that I usually get asked. So the 3 questions that we asked was very tailored to their personal interests and what they really wanted to do in their life. So in general, a lot of the interviews or this recruiting process, we often only are being asked for the skill matching questions. And for some people, they just felt like our questions were unique in a way. And after the user testing, we did a little group discussion and a little voting on thinking about if our solution actually validate or invalidate our idea was invalidated or invalidated or validated. I get it right now. So the first question we asked ourselves was, did the prototype answer the screen questions? The voting we got done was not sure, 50-50 maybe. So I think in the general sense was that we had 3 screen questions. Our solutions answer probably 1 or 2 of them, but probably not all of them. The second validation that we had was, will the prototype properly address the long-term goal? Half of the team voted as not sure and half of the team voted yes. And I see that as a positive way. At least nobody voted as a no. So, and the third one is, do you think we addressed the challenge we took on as a team? And very clear winning that everyone, well, not everyone, but the majority of them said that it was a yes. So that's pretty much it about our user testing. Unfortunately, Lisa could not join our call. But Adriana, you also, if you're still in the call, yeah. If you're still in the call, then maybe you can talk a little bit about your experience about when you did the user testing. Are you there?
Yes, sorry. I think to add to what you were saying, one of the important things that I realized during the user testing was how people from different backgrounds and cultures perceived the prototype, and how some of the feedback that we received was you know, a bit different depending on that. So that was quite interesting to observe and to understand. Because there's a lot of things that influence our decisions and how we view life, you know, depending on who we are. So that was an interesting thing. And yeah, it was great to gather a bit more experience in the user testing and to understand how to better frame some of the questions so that people could express themselves freely, and to also provide the feedback that we would be looking to receive from them.
Thank you. So we can move on to, actually, let me pass back to Robert.
All right, I can take it from here. Let me get that. Could somebody please send me in the Zoom, if it's not there already, the link to this particular board in the panelist side, just so I can click on it and go to it. There you go. Let's separate this out. Please hold for a moment.
Let's sing a German song.
We need some royalty-free hold music.
No, I think I've got it. Okay. So thank you very much for that, Sandy, in terms of like guiding that along. So the last part here is basically to go over the highlights for each of the team members about what had happened during their virtual sprint. I usually like to go into the pictures first to kind of give a chronological view of all the different pictures that were taken. This one, and any of you can kind of speak up, this is all about mustache or mustaches. Although it looked like Andres couldn't really do his mustache because he was attached, but not really video. Then there was all about books that you were currently reading. Although I think Sandy was actually, is that a book or is that a tag? Is that your tag?
So that our theme that day was to have a book that we want to read, but we never really got into that yet. And I am not a really book reader. I'm a book listener. So I just pull out something from my Amazon. And since I was taking the picture, so I didn't have the third hand to do the screenshot. So I had to use my mouth.
Yeah, it just looked like the phone was levitating in front of your face. That's why I just had to ask. And then we have items, different items that are around. Drawing utensils, it looks like. Adriana has a boxing glove.
Hobbies.
Yes. Oh, there you go. The plants. It must have been cold in the office well, maybe it's not the office. Not sure. And then sign language or different letters. And you were basically doing hue match, correct?
Yep.
Yep. And as well as the notes. And lights those to each other. So, okay. And then the beep beep on the sheet. By the way, that you were I dropped the ball on that. I was supposed to put the video in, but I still have all of you dancing to that song, and I've got to make one. So I'm going to make one. I will.
Oh, you can do it right now.
No, I can't. Oh, I can't do it right now. I'm in the middle of a session, but I'll do it later on. I promise you, I will do it. It's on there. So anyway, those are all the photos from the sessions. We'll get into some of the highlights, and what I'll do is I'll read these off and then kind of have you kind of expound on them if you need to, or add to anything that I'm saying here. So Adriana, you're in the corner here. We'll start first. You wrote, "It was great to collaborate with other professionals and work together on the challenge. It helped me gain more insight into what I would want the job looking experience to be like in the future. And it also helped me realize once again that people with different backgrounds view employment and purpose quite differently." Would you like to expand upon that at all, Adriana?
Not really, because I already mentioned that. So I think that pretty much summarizes my thoughts.
Fair enough. Sandy, you wrote experimenting different approaches on doing the virtual mapping exercise. And I think we also touched upon that too, correct?
Yeah, besides the creative clue, I was also experimenting the different ways of doing it virtually. So yeah, it was really cool experience. I think I was really happy that the team actually allowed me to do this as well. So, like, because we always say trust the process and don't question it too much, and just, but
we all know
like
we all know it's first trust the process, then trust the facilitator, then the tools, and then your gut feeling.
Right.
There you go. Bia wrote that the talent sprint part was putting the team members much more into focus and allowing us to question the process in an open way. So just what you were talking about, Sandy. Bia, any additional commentary beyond what you put here?
No, also just related to what Sandy said before, because I'm always tending to questioning process, and I still think that it's good because it's a human-made process. So why can't we change it? It's not like physics or something, and I think we can always optimize things if we struggle with it. So yeah, that was really cool that we were allowed to question and had time for it.
Yep. Yeah, I find that 2020 is going to be a year where it's going to be V or the recipe. It's just going to be a a platform where all of us are going to feel empowered once we know the system to kind of pick and choose what particular methods we decide to kind of mix into place to get the outcomes we want. Anna wrote that all the great connections I have made and being in a team with such talented and committed bunch of people. Anything else you'd like to add, Anna?
Yeah, maybe just that obviously this was my first global virtual design sprint and also my first design sprint overall. And it was great to learn what the process is like, and not only to learn that, but also learn to trust the process. I'd be very intrigued to see what it would be like to maybe tweak it a little bit more and add some more design thinking elements into it, whether this could work, but maybe that's something for next time. So
are there plans? Oh, I'm sorry, keep going. What were you saying?
No, I'm just very grateful for this experience. So Thank you, everyone.
Are there any plans by the team or members of the team to kind of carry this forward in some fashion?
Yes.
Oh yeah, yeah. We've talked about it.
It's got to be Tom's voice going, oh yeah.
Hey, come on now. I resemble that remark. Well,
of course. So a fellow podcaster, you got to have that voice for it. So I get it.
Oh, you do.
Andre may mention that the great hands-on opportunity to understand the differences between a virtual design sprint and a design thinking process and the amazing team. So it's very nice of him to say. Jerome said the team spirit that stretches beyond the design sprint already. Anything else you want to add, Jerome, or is that pretty much summarizes it for you?
I can say so many things about great moments that we experienced during the sprint, content-wise, between individuals, people stepping out of the process because of family reasons and coming back in and still feeling part of the team. I think it was amazing to see that spirit, and I think that carries forward also outside the sprint in itself. So that was what drove my comment here.
Cool. And I know that I've seen this in Slack. You also have a couple of curated things regarding to the talent sprint where people are kind of making comments back and forth between the two.
Yeah, you can click on it and it will probably show in the screen as well. And let me do the voiceover so that nobody can hear the sound probably. But I think what you see if a team starts gluing together the trust like this team showed, that you can actually really bring it to the next level. And I think the talent sprint label that we put on this as well, and allowing people to show on stage and to experiment with thinking, communication, style, I think amazing to see. I think also participating in the Mural backstage event, for instance, where Tom did the prototyping introduction and where Lisa did the live user testing for almost half an hour, and all of us were annotating the user research. I think as an experiment was nice, but I think it was also a nice way of allowing Lisa and Tom to really shine on stage for a larger audience. And that's what the talent sprint is all about, is showing the best side of yourself, be vulnerable at certain things. And what we've done at the end of the 5 days in week 2 already is actually reflecting a little bit on each other's assets and qualities. And I asked everybody to give a compliment to someone else. And that's what we captured in this video, short video, I think of 30 seconds, if you can run it if you want, where people are actually sharing the compliments towards each other. Maybe a nice asset to carry forward by the people themselves. But I think it reflects the atmosphere that we had as a team as well.
Are there any plans to put that up on YouTube or on LinkedIn or anywhere so that people can see it, or is that more for consumption?
No, well, of course, you can only do this after you got permission from everybody, because I think it also relates to the personal situation. But I'm happy to see that today, throughout the day, everybody actually committed itself that they have no problems with having this published in the way we've prepared this. So yes, the next few days probably will celebrate this event also by celebrating the compliments to each other.
Cool. Sounds great. Thank you, Jerome. Lisa wrote down here that the challenge also challenged my perception of recruitment, and I learned a lot. Having an amazing team certainly helped to elevate those learnings even further. That's pretty cool. Then Tom's wrote here, it says, the team's instant rapport and willingness to collaborate openly was inspiring. I'm really pleased with how quickly everyone got into the sprint and started pooling ideas around the challenge. The GVDS really opened my eyes to the value of the sprint and how it can be used to bring value to teams who need a bit of a creative push in the right direction. Is there anything you'd like to add to this, Tom, in terms of like what you had wrote here, anything that you left out?
I tried to be concise, which isn't always. Anna, stop laughing at me. I just think that the experience in general really brought everyone together. As I say, Anna had never been through a sprint process before, and others of us were very experienced. I think being able to open that door to absolutely everyone was just fantastic, and see how, as I say, quickly the trust happened between everybody, and we felt very comfortable to share and experiment and just try to achieve something together. And it was great. It was really, really inspiring.
Very cool. And Matteo is a loss for words. He just can't speak about it right now, so we'll leave it at that. Okay, let's check and see if anybody posted any questions between Zoom and YouTube. And I believe we inquired with people to ask them if they wanted to ask anything. I don't know if we got any hits. There was the question about how do you perceive the brand name Who Match? I can give you my answer to that since I'm part of the audience in a way. The brand name Who Match was interesting. What I liked more than the name was the colors that you used, in the idea that it was more of a rainbow coalition in a way. So that I thought that the visual treatment of the logo was pretty interesting. Who Match, for some reason, maybe it's word alliteration, I thought of Chewie from Star Wars. I don't know why, I just did when I saw Who Match. I think it aligns with what you were trying to do with the sprint. But I think the colors are the things that that stuck with me more than anything else. It's just that color treatment kind of stuck out as like that drew me to the logo or to the idea, and then everything else kind of fell into place. So hopefully that works. Is that good feedback for y'all? Was that concrete, constructive? Check on YouTube, and let me get out of full screen mode.
There are no live questions there.
Okay. All right. So maybe at this point, what we can do, since we have a few more minutes left, is just maybe summarize what it was like working with each other, maybe to Jeroen's suggestion before about, oh, go ahead. What were you saying?
Yeah, could you share the screen again? Oh, I can share actually.
Sure.
I just want to show the team one thing. Right here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I forgot about that. I did see it in the corner. It's like, so this is Bridget. Basically, they made a drawing of the entire team, and that's definitely going on social media. So
I love it.
Yeah,
right.
That's so cool.
There are all the names there. So, but I think without the names, you can already identify who is who. So
yes.
Sandy, did she send this to you directly?
Yeah.
Okay. And did she say it was okay to share, or is this just for this meal? Okay, because I don't. Could you send me it, please?
Sure.
Sometime when you have time. Okay. Yeah.
What triggered her, Sandy, to make this? Was it part of her live sprint task list?
She did one for her team, and then I always like her sketch. Like she just, you can see like when we were doing workshops and stuff, she just like keeps sketching people's faces, and I really loved it. And then I saw that she did it for her team idea, and I just asked her, can we also do one for our team? And then she said, send me some pictures of our group pictures. And then I did that. I'm glad that she didn't use the cucumbers or the sheep, but yeah.
Yeah, she kept it very human.
Yeah.
By the way, Tom and I noticed that we do actually have a panelist. We do have a question that came in from Damien Lamar. I hope I say that right. His question was, do all of the panelists typically work on project teams remotely? And if so, what are the pros and cons?
Who wants to start?
Well, I do work on projects remotely. I mean, Bear and I really sit in one room, but most of our team members are actually overseas. So we do work remotely. I guess the pros is that you can use Miro, which I really like, and you can turn on your Snapcam. I don't know. I just love remote work, honestly. Like, I just feel like a lot of the times, if it was not remote, we wouldn't even be able to work together. And it brings a very diverse culture together that we wouldn't really be able to with the remote work. And the cons is, I guess, yeah, you cannot be in the physical environment together. But I feel like as soon as you turn on the camera, then, I mean, you cannot make it as a one-to-one experience like you're being in the same room. But if you can turn on your camera, you already have a lot of feeling. You can see each other's emotion, and yeah. So yeah, that's my answer.
For me, it's my primary way of working. I just find that even if I had physically, if I had to go to places, I feel like it's a bit bigger time commitment and more friction than if I do it online. I don't mind going to meet people face to face if there's a reason to do so, like a table for 8 or a meetup or someplace where I know I'm going to be having meaningful conversations. But I've been doing this now for, even before I had my full-time job, I was doing it as a consultant before, working remotely, probably cumulatively about 8 years. And I mean, this is just my default way of work. I think the pro is that you just have more versatility. The con is that you can tend to lose, well, maybe it's not a con in itself, but you tend to do a lot more work than you would normally do if you were trapped in a place where you had to do work. That's certainly true for my work in GVDS. So that could be perceived as a con when you're trying to find balance. Anyone else like to answer that question?
Yeah, I can. I think because I work remotely, I think the same as you, Robert, from kind of a client perspective rather than an in-house team. And I mean, the same as you, I think having that that kind of remote nature, it opens up the world to you. And I think for me, that's the biggest pro, is that I can talk to and work with anyone, anywhere, and there are no barriers. For working with people who may not be as open to or experienced with remote work, it can be quite a scary thing. So I've worked with some quite large corporate companies who still need bottoms on seats behind screens, and for them to call in a remote consultant to come and work with their entire team can be quite jarring at first. So you kind of have to be mindful of that to make sure you are encouraging and enthusiastic at all times, just to make sure they feel comfortable with it. But I mean, I can't see any other way for me forever now. This is it.
Yeah, and I think that the industry is eventually moving there. It's just a matter of either culture change, leadership change. There's just too many inherent cost savings related to this mode of work that really you can learn it like any other skill, but there are particular things and parameters and, like, I don't know what you would call it. Like, there is a particular way of working remote that you have to respect and kind of adhere to, like you would if you were going to your workplace. But there's just the advantages are just too great. And I feel like it's just going to be a tipping point at some point in the future where it's just going to be default and everyone's going to wake up to it. Outside of the exception of the jobs where you have to be physical someplace.
Yeah, maybe I want to add to that. I think many people are afraid that it is not getting or creating the same social glue that you have if you work with colleagues in an office and you meet each other at the morning at the doorstep and at the coffee machine and working face to face. I come out of the corporate environment and I've done that for almost 20 years as well. But I have to say the last 5-6 years working on my own as a consultant, still going to clients. I think the last half year, 3/4 of the year, I really discovered what the potential of remote working is by participating in the Global Virtual Design Sprint. So that's the more practical side of it. But I have to say, and I was having a chat with Tom today as well about the benefits of virtual collaboration. I was looking after 4 or 5 years of working on my own and traveling to clients or to meetups, a kind of a sense of belonging again, and that camaraderie and let's say having colleagues, let's say, kind of in the work.
Yes.
And I have to say the last 6-7 months within the GVDS community, I think it feels like a kind of an implicit company, a virtual design sprint, whatever you want to call it. But it's more than just on the spot working together. I think relationships are formed here as well. And sometimes you meet each other face to face if the opportunity is there. but I can say that I have more colleagues than I've had the last 5 years now out of the GVDS community, working virtually, remotely in this style.
And in a way, when you meet someone virtually, you're kind of making a long-term promise that eventually you're going to meet up with them. Some way, somehow, the cards are going to play that if you're playing in the same professional space, there's a good chance that either through a conference or through traveling or through something else, if you're in the same city, there's always the chance that you'll be able to meet up with each other at least once. Like it happened with Lee Duncan, it's happened with me in France. It's one of the things where if you'll seek out the opportunity if it becomes, like, especially if somebody says, hey, I'm in Dallas. If anybody from the GVDS is there in Dallas visiting for a few days, I'm gonna say, hey, come on over. You can play with my kid.
Why do you want to go to Dallas?
You can see what, you can come on over. It's cozy here. We got a lot of space. You can tell by the echo from the speaker and when I'm talking. Okay, so we're at time. As customary with the showcase, we've got time to do one group shot. I would rather ask the team to probably choose how they would like to do a group shot, since you're very versed at it. I wouldn't want to impose what I think would be the proper way of doing it. We just have to basically take everything off of share so that we have a full screen for everyone to be on there. So Sandy, if you could stop the share, we can kind of
try to figure out how to do that now. Can you stop it from your side? No.
let me see.
Wait, the menu is not showing up anymore for some reason.
Hang on, I'll do it this way. There you go. Now you can see my big old calendar. And I'll stop that, and there we go. Okay, we're good. So anyone have any suggestions for this? Because my default would be to go over the Christmas tree where I'm at and basically like take 2 Christmas bulbs and go like this.
Oh,
that assumes we have decorations up.
No, not that ready yet.
All right, so we could do just basically I don't know.
Rock, scissors, rock, scissors.
All right, and then just basically whatever we've got, and then we do that. So it's like 1, 2, and then if we go like that, that's what we have. And we'll see who wins in the collective. Like basically somebody smashes my scissors, but I cut somebody's paper. Want to do it that way?
For instance.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna do a screenshot at the same time I do 3, so that basically it's gonna catch. All right, you ready? It's like 1, 2, 3. Oh, I missed it. All right, do it again. Do it again.
Oh.
Right, hang on. That's the first one. All right, 1, 2, 3. Man, I got scissored up like crazy because I thought, oh, I had the rock this in with the scissors. Anyway,
we saw you coming.
Yeah, I telegraphed my, so it was too late. They already saw it. Anyway, Team MVP was a wonderful presentation. I really hope you got a lot out of this virtual sprint. It sounds like you did. It sounds like you're also carrying this forward in some form or fashion with the team. I'm very happy all of you took a chance and decided to be part of the Global Virtual Design Sprint this time around. And you have my thanks and my gratitude for kind of being part of it. And hopefully it was worthwhile and worth your time. So that much I can leave you with. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
thanks for watching, Damien.
On YouTube and on Zoom, who's been watching. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Yeah.
See ya.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Bye. Go for the ending.